Hello YouTube. Resident Evil Requiem is about to release and all the reviews are out and everyone, or at least almost everyone, is incredibly positive on it. Here's a quick review roundup. Let's see, Eurogamer gave it a 10 out of 10, Comic Book gave it a 10 out of 10, Game Rant gave it a 10 out of 10, Screen Hub a 10 out of 10, and Shack News gave it a 10 out of 10, Game Informer with a 9.8, Twisted Voxel 9.5, Destructoid 9.5, a 9 out of 10 from IGN, and then a 9 out of 10 from PlayStation Lifestyle, Tech Raptor, and Nintendo Life, with VGC giving it an 8 out of 10. As of the making of this video, it was at a Metacritic of 88 and a 90 from OpenCritic. Digitech, Xbox Tavern, and Gaming Bible also gave it a 10 out of 10, so a lot of high scores all over the place. Let's see what some of these verdicts have to say. So I'm going to summarize the overall reviews from Eurogamer for the PC version of the game. Capcom marks Resident Evil's 30th anniversary with a stellar return that's both a masterful bit of suffocating horror and a nostalgic, fan-thrilling victory lap for the legendary series. Over at Game Rant, who gave it a perfect score, 10 out of 10. Resident Evil Requiem's gripping story and intoxicating gameplay blend are wrapped up in a perfectly polished experience with eye-popping graphics and a blood-pumping soundtrack. Resident Evil Requiem is a horror gaming experience, a masterpiece, and one of the best games Capcom has ever made. It's the ultimate Resident Evil game, and it will be remembered as fondly as the franchise favorites in the years to come. So that's big praise from Game Rant. This is for the PS5 version, by the way. Let's see how Xbox and Switch 2 versions are doing. Not as many 10 out of 10s here, but from the Xbox Hub, they say Resident Evil Requiem is a pitch-perfect love letter to fans of the series. Capcom has absolutely nailed the dual protagonist mechanic, which sits at the core of a truly incredible piece of storytelling. The result is a must-play title for those both familiar and new to the series. Put simply, it's an absolute tour de force. I do not know what that means, but since they scored high, I assume it means something good. That's the Xbox. Let's go see how Nintendo is doing on the Switch 2 version. Over at Shack News, giving it a 10 out of 10. Resident Evil Requiem is a crown jewel in Capcom survival horror crown. Its characters develop realistically. Its rhythm between action and horror should more than satisfy fans of both styles, and its story gripped me from beginning to end. This is Resident Evil at its finest, and I can't wait to see where Capcom takes the series next. That's Switch 2. Again, not as many reviews on this one. So those are some really good scores. Let's go down to like the more 9 out of 10 range. So from Nintendo Life, this is again for the Switch 2 version. Resident Evil Requiem sets a new benchmark for a series that has been pretty consistently great for the last decade or so. By combining classic survival horror with the more action-focused gameplay of Resident Evil 4, the result is an experience paced to perfection. Add in a lore-heavy narrative and a copious Easter eggs, and you've got what might be the ultimate expression of Resident Evil. There are a few minor visual hiccups, along with some inconsistency in frame rate during busier moments, but the fact that we've got a brand new flagship Resident Evil game running well on the Switch 2 should be celebrated. The lack of a mercenary mode feels like a missed opportunity, but I've got my fingers crossed that it eventually shows up. So that actually is very disappointing for me as well. No mercenaries. I love mercenaries. There's none in this game. That's not good. But, the core game is what matters most, I suppose. If it's incredible, then that won't matter. Okay, so let's a lot of the ones that are giving it 9 out of 10s are kind of saying the same thing, right? Like lack of mercenaries, or just a few visual hiccups, which is always happening in the Resident Evil games. Let's go drop down to like the ones giving it like an 8 out of 10. IGN Turkey says Resident Evil Requiem succeeds in breathing new life to the series rather than relying on nostalgia. The nostalgic elements, updated gameplay mechanics, the ease of playing from different perspectives, and the surprises combine to create a Resident Evil storm that will keep you glued to your seat for hours. But I must add this: those expecting the revolutionary change Resident Evil 7 brought may not find what they're looking for. I guess they're just kind of saying that there's not really like any innovation. It's just kind of doing what they've already been doing, which for me, that's fine as long as the game is good. So I guess they were just being a little bit harsher on it because of that. It's not doing anything new. It's just combining gameplay styles. Of course, I don't know until I actually play the game, but that's just what it sounds like they're saying. Looking at some more PC reviews and sticking to like the 8 out of 10 area, seeing what other people are saying. PC games with an 85, or I guess it's an 8.5, what could have easily been an inconsistent mess ends up as one of the best modern Resident Evils. Requiem handles both horror and action as well as former more focused entries, and it knows just when to switch perspectives, especially those who've stuck with the series throughout its multiple identity changes and enjoyed the games for what they were. Will have a blast with this. So nothing really too negative to say, at least in their overall summary, but it seems like a lot of people are just really high in this game. I was trying to see if there was any like really low reviews, but I'm not seeing any. PS5 I think has the most reviews. I did look at some of the lower ratings, like the ones that are like around a 7 to 7.5, but I don't want to share them here because they kind of talk about what to expect from like the second half of the game, and I don't want to like spoil anybody on that. There's not like actual like story spoilers, but gameplay spoilers. I don't want to bring that up into the video, but I ultimately kind of feel like they're a little too harsh because a lot of the other reviewers aren't even talking about that. Even the ones like they're doing like 8 out of 10s and stuff, they don't talk about what they're talking about. But I guess I won't know until I actually play the game. The majority of people are giving this a really high rating, so I'm pretty confident about the game, and I can't wait to play it. I already have it pre-ordered and preloaded. As soon as I can, I will play it, and I'd like to talk about it as I play through the game. I'm not going to be beating the game like for real fast to do a review real fast. I'm just going to play at my own pace and kind of talk about my impressions as I'm playing the game. I will be playing the PC version. Seems like the Switch 2 version seems to be running pretty good. That's nice to hear. I'm sure it doesn't like look as pretty, but it's nice to know that there are people who, maybe those who only have like a Switch 2, can enjoy the game as well. There were, at least at the time of making this video, there were 116 critic reviews on PS5, 10 for Xbox, 17 for PC, and 12 for Nintendo. Tell me what perspective you will be playing, in third person or first person. I will be playing in third person. Then maybe, depending how I feel, I might play first person for my second playthrough, but I'm not committing to that. I'll most likely be doing multiple playthroughs, so we'll see. Catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.